Hi, I'm David Fleming from the Disciples Ignited YouTube channel, where we're focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now we're studying the wilderness journeys where the Lord is taking his people, the Jews, out of Egypt, going to take them through the wilderness, and then lead them to the promised land. And he raises up a man named Moses to be the leader of the Israelites during this wilderness journey. Now, in yesterday's video, we studied about the first 40 years of Moses, which were in Egypt, where Moses had a revelation of the Lord, and he put his faith in the Lord. He also had a revelation that God had called him to be a deliverer of the Jews out of Egypt. But we also saw how Moses presumed that he was acting in faith when he was going about his own initiative, doing it his own way, killed an Egyptian, thinking that that was going to help him deliver the Jews out of Egypt. But that was really just his own initiative. That was presumption. Well, his own presumption led to disillusionment, discouragement, and disillusionment. Can you imagine Moses, after this great revelation of the Lord that he had, and understanding his calling by God to deliver the Israelites, having to flee Egypt for his own life? What a broken man he must have been. But yet, as a broken man, now he is at the very point where God can begin to make Moses the man that he needs to be to fulfill his destiny. And so Moses flees to the desert. There he is, a foreigner in the desert. He meets a woman, gets married, has 2 kids. But God, in the time that he is in the wilderness, begins to shape Moses and teach him and prepare him to fulfill his destiny. And one of the most important lessons that the Lord teaches Moses in the wilderness is about faith. You see, faith really has 2 different aspects to it. There is the aspect of instantaneous manifestation. It's like when you pray for somebody to be healed and bam, immediately you see the healing manifested. And then there is the aspect when you pray for something, and although you expect it to happen immediately, it doesn't happen immediately. In fact, it doesn't happen for a long time. Well, does that mean that you give yourself over to doubt? Absolutely not. That's not faith. You keep believing God. You're trusting God no matter how long it takes to come into manifestation. Moses had to learn both of these aspects because they were both going to be needed in order to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt. You see, he was going to have to stand before Moses and say, let God's people go. And Pharaoh was going to tell Moses, no. In fact, he told him no over and over and over and over and over again. But Moses had to stand strong and keep on saying, the Lord says, let my people go. And despite the fact that Pharaoh said no many times over, Moses continued to believe God. And so that shows us that Moses had learned persevering faith, enduring faith, not giving over to doubt, but just keep on trusting God until the manifestation comes. And then there were the times that Moses pronounced something and it happened immediately. For instance, when he pronounced God's judgment over the gods of Egypt. And these plagues took place immediately. So both aspects are now fully functioning in Moses' life. And then deliverance comes. Join me tomorrow.